evening and welcome to the 47th Annual Sokola Hall of Fame Induction Ceremony. Let's give a big hand to the 2022 Hall of Fame inductee Jim Kachira and the band who are playing the music for your dancing and listening pleasure. I would like to ask you if you wish to talk or visit with someone during the ceremony that you step out to the outer foyer as a courtesy to the people around you and the inductees. This year, the Omaha Czech Cultural Club and Slovak Culture Club, I should say, is providing the food for this event, so make sure you stop by and check it out. We would like to thank Mark Villadal from the All-Star Polka Show, Radio KHUB in Fremont, and also on KJSK Radio in Columbus for the advertising for this festival, and something that's special that happened at the first of the year. You can now get both shows on the web. Just click on the Mark Villadal Orchestra.com and you get on the web and listen to all the shows. Let's give him a big round of applause. So Omaha Polka Hall of Fame will be September 8th, 2024, and the band will be the Milligan Czech Brass Band. The Omaha Polka Hall of Fame started on October 22nd, 1972, and has been held every year except for 1975, 77, 78, and 2000 and 2001 for various reasons. With this year's induction, there will be 162 inductees, of which 116 are deceased, and 46 are still with us. The past inductees who are still with us, would you come to the front of the stage? Just so everybody knows, we lost 2 inductees this past year. We lost Don Lhotak and Herman Butler. So with that, I will introduce these past inductees to you and hope I don't make no mistakes. Ron Natterby, 1981. 1991, Bob Blecka. 1994, yours truly, Jim Botnichuk. 1997, Dean Fornoff. 2002, Glenn Kocha. 2004, Mark Villadal. In 2005, Edward J. Sonny Swoboda up on the stage with me. Ken Janik Jr. in 2008. Also in 2008, Bob Zagosta. In 2011, Frank Siedlik. In 2013, Barry Boyce. In 2014, Tom Hazuka. 2015, Jeffrey Janda. And Louis Siedlik Jr. And Stephen Sobota. 2017, Lou Hushbutka. Also, Kevin Koopman in 2017. The birthday boy, Steve Steger, whose birthday was yesterday, in 2018. 2022, Larry Skarka. Also in 2022, Jim Kuchera. And also in 2022, Irene Orga from KOTB Radio. Okay, guys and gals, that's all. Our first inductee tonight is Hermie Franzluebbers. Herman Joseph Franzluebbers was born on August 1st, 1919, on a rural farm near West Point, Nebraska. His parents were George and Frances Franzluebbers. Herman was married to Catherine Rosekamp Franzluebbers on June 5th, 1950. They had 9 children: Karen Hunt, Linda Thompson, Alan Franzluebbers, Daniel Franzluebbers, Marilyn Moberg, Doris Ortmeyer, Diane Check, Dwayne Franzluebbers, and Glenn Franzluebbers. Would the Franzluebber children, if you're in attendance, please stand up so people can know where you're at. Herman had to quit school in the 8th grade to help at the farm after his father suffered a stroke. Herman got his first button accordion at age 14. He had seen it at a store window and begged his dad for it for a long time. After some time and some more time, his father finally passed and purchased the button accordion. And Hermie began learning how to play it. At age 18, he started playing with friends in the area. For local area events, I should say. Then a few years later, he had the opportunity to play for the King Checkers Band. Herman then became a member of the Mustache Joe Polka Band and the J. Sterling Dance Band. While playing for Mustache Joe, Herman was able to play in the countries of Germany, Austria, Switzerland, and many states, including Hawaii and many other states. Herman made several recordings with the King Checkers and Mustache Joe bands, and 2 recordings of Hermie and Friends and Hermie and his button accordion. He could never read a note of music. He always played by ear. Herman Joseph Hermie Franzluebbers passed away on April 19th of 2006. With that, Sonny, would you induct Herman Franzluebbers into the Hall of Fame?
All past inductees, and all that your father has done to help preserve and promote polka music in the state of Nebraska. Congratulations, Steve. Thank you.
I guess I'm supposed to give a little bit of a speech here. I'm not good at this, but I was the chosen. You guys owe me a beer. Well, a lot of this speech is going to be repetitive of what he had already said. I just want to thank you so much for being here and Yes, I was chosen, but I wouldn't do anything for Dad, so that's why I'm here. On behalf of Hermie and my whole family, I want to thank you so much for this well-deserved award. I want to thank my family members who are here today, including my cousins and also friends who are joining us. I especially want to thank the past inductees who voted for our dad for this award. We would have been so thrilled to see you all again. I also want to thank Sokol Omaha for hosting this special event. You do an outstanding job and have an excellent facility. Dad would have been so proud. We all just wish he was here in person to accept this honor. Polka music was a big part of his life for so long. As a young child, I can remember sitting around at Christmas, he would listen to a record and he could play it. It just came natural. What a great God-given gift. He loved talking to people he met when he played on events, and besides his family and farming, it brought him great joy to entertain people. Our mom, Catherine, was supportive of his escapades, which helped feed his 9 children, which took a lot of food. From playing at the neighborhood parties to big wedding dances, he loved bringing people together with his music. And as he said earlier, an accordion in the window caught Dad's eye, and he begged and begged. But after a certain amount of time, Grandpa gave in and bought it. So he practiced, and all he had to do was listen and he could play it. Now it started out small, but he really turned into an icon, in my opinion. And I'm sure when his parents bought that accordion, they never believed he would be here today. And they would be very proud of that. So, yes, he played in Germany, his heritage, Australia, Hawaii, Austria. He really enjoyed meeting people, doing this kind of thing. And he enjoyed doing it. So, thank you again for this award. I'm sure there's one hell of a polka party in heaven tonight, so cheers to Hermie.
Raynold Woita was born on August 18, 1933 in Malmo, Nebraska. His parents were Louis and Margaret Woita. Raynold is survived by his wife, Dolores Chapek Woita. They were married on July 26, 1958 and had 9 children. Jane, Ron, Ralph, Randy, Joel, Julie, Jean, Jim, and Sue. I hope I didn't miss anybody there. Raymond attended grade school at District 24, Malmo, Nebraska, and graduated high school from Weston, Nebraska. At age 8, Raynold got a button accordion, began taking accordion lessons from neighbor Ted Shimanak. Shortly after, Raynold's mother passed away. In early 80s, Raynold was asked to play for the Chetlanders, where he was on stage for 30 plus years. He also could be seen on stage with Chesky Klutzy and the Moonlighters polka bands. He was inducted into the Musicians Hall of Fame in Milligan in 2012. Raynold played in many states: Nebraska, Iowa, South Dakota, Kansas, Texas, Oklahoma, Ohio, and also Nevada in Las Vegas. He often played at Bill Paul's Tavern in Omaha. Raynold could not read music, he only played by ear. And all of his songs were written in script, in a spiral notebook that his son Jim keeps with his button accordion. Raynold passed away on June 13, 2016. Sonny, would you induct Raynold Woita into the Sokolamaha Polka Hall of Fame?
Congratulations on all your husband has done, promoting music from the Soko Omaha and all past inductees. And your father also. Congratulations to both of you. Yeah.
Good afternoon. I have just a small speech because my dad was not much for words. So we're going to keep it short and sweet. Very honored to accept this award for Dad. My dad's up polka music. We are honored to be here today amongst his friends and fellow musicians who are in the room today. And on behalf of my entire family, I'd like to thank the Soko Committee for recognizing our dad and inducting him into the Soko Hall of Fame. And thank you very much.
Bill Scott was born on September 27, 1930 in Lincoln, Nebraska. His parents were John and Elizabeth Scott and Ashland. Ashland, Nebraska is where they resided. Bill is married to Ruth Scott, and they have 3 sons, John, Don, and Dave. And they're up in the balcony someplace, but if they're down here, stand up and be recognized. Bill attended Ashland Public Schools, grade and high school. After graduating, he attended University of Nebraska Business College, graduating in 1952. Bill began his playing career with the Polka Kings in 1955. He later played with Ray Duchatko Trio with Ray at the bars in Omaha. Bill was on trumpet in those damn days. He then played for the popular Polonaise band of Omaha, led by Milt Jaworski. Then in around 1968, Milt's health issues didn't allow him to be able to lead the band. So he asked Bill to lead the Polonaise, which he did faithfully. Interesting fact about the Hall of Fame: in 1952, Bill Scott, Jim Botnicek, I'm sure Louis Siedlik was here, and probably Ron Matterney. That was the first Hall of Fame, where 4 bands that day played: Eddie Janet, Al Grimley, Vern Ludington, and the Polonaise. Bill likes all kinds of music, but polka and country are his favorites. Sonny, with that, would you induct Bill Scott into the Sokolamaha Polka Hall of Fame?
Congratulations for all you've done for folk music from the Soko Hall, Omaha, and also from all the past inductees, for all you've done. I appreciate it. Look at stuff.
I love polka music. Jim has covered my life with the Czech bands, which were a great joy and still are to me. And I would like to talk now a little bit about my days with the Polonaires. Starting in about 1960 or so, Lhotak introduced me to Milt Jaworski, and I soon fell in love with that style of Polish music, and I started playing horn with them. And when Milt became ill, he asked me to take over the band, and I did. And for the next 20 years or so, we played every weekend and had a great time. Then we decided to retire in 1980, and I couldn't stay away from it, so we started up again shortly and started playing just a few gigs a year, and until last year when I turned 92 and we finally decided it was time to quit. It's been a great time. I want to thank the Polonaires Fan Club for all they did to support our band and made it possible. We made some big gigs in Chicago and Milwaukee and had a fan club that went along. I want to mention the original members of the band. They were Ron Brodsky, Dan Shimmick, Len Nowak, John Shalevsky, and John Scott. And later, when we started up again, we added Pat Nowak and Tim Shalevsky and Joy Vashak. Lastly, I got two people I want to say something special about. The first one is John Shalevsky, a good friend and an amazing accordion player and Polish vocalist. Without him, for the last several years, there wouldn't have been any Polonaires. And then last of all, I want to say my son John. Son John started playing horn with me in the Polonaires band when he was 10 years old. And for sure, two horns are a lot better than one. In fact, we probably wouldn't have survived without John. So we had a lot of fun for the last 58 years, playing horn together with the Polonaires. Lucky me. Thank you, and dziękuję.
Amazing man. Leonard R. Lenny Rich Siedlik was born on September 12, 1945 in Omaha, Nebraska. His parents were Joseph and Rose Siedlik. Lenny is married to Susan Jo Siedlik, and Lenny has two sons, Jeffrey, who is on stage with us, and Jeffrey and Chad, who is on stage with us. Lenny has a sister, Mary Parnell, living in Kansas, and she's here today. It was nice to have met you. Also, his brother, Big Joe Siedlik, who passed away in January of 2018. Lenny grew up in the St. Stanislaus Parish and attended grade school at St. Stan's in South Omaha and graduated from high school at Omaha South in 1963. He then went to the University of Nebraska, graduated with a Bachelor of Science in Business Administration in 1970. Lenny played drums in the South High School Orchestra and Marching Band and all 4 years of high school, and was nominated to perform drum solos at the All-City Music Festival at the Omaha Civic Auditorium. Lenny was inspired to play accordion by his uncle, Ted Olachowski, a master accordionist who played with many Czech bands and was a regular with Golden Braid Orchestra, Red Raven Orchestra, and also the Charlie Kuchera Orchestra. Lenny took accordion lessons from the famed Johnny Swoboda's accordion studio, where when he was 12 years old and began playing for tips on Sunday afternoons at the South Omaha Polish Home when he was 15 years old. At age 12 or 17, he started writing music and formed the Lenny Polka Band a year later. The band has recorded several record albums over the years, the past 30 years. As a band leader, he also often filled in as a DJ for the Big Joe Polka Show on the radio. Lenny's band played in Pennsylvania, Michigan, Minnesota, Iowa, Kansas, South Dakota, and all over Nebraska, and as far away as Disneyland Hotel in Los Angeles, California. Lenny also plays bass guitar and concertina. He contributes the success of his band to all the wonderful people who that followed and supported them, and owes a tribute to the dedicated and talented musicians, Bob Zagosta, Dan Cerveny, Vince Russo, Tom Hazuka, Bill and John Scott, Doug Mendick, Bob Cronigan, Mike Helgeson, and Frank Siedlik. All of these guys made the journey a lot of fun. With that, Sonny, would you induct Lenny Siedlik into the Sokol Omaha Polka Hall of Fame?
Congratulations for all that your dad has done for polka music. I know he's like to be here today, but Sokol Omaha and all past inductees, please give him our best. Thank you.
Thank you for that excellent introduction. My name is Chad Siedlik, and I'm honored to accept this award in my father's absence. He unfortunately could not be present as he made a previous commitment a couple months prior to learning of his nomination. And I just want to take a quick selfie, just so he knows what he's missing. Everybody just raise your hands. Everybody. Now he'll know what it's like. I would like to thank all the past Hall of Famers for electing my father to be inducted into the Nebraska Polka Hall of Fame. My father has spoken highly of this organization and is honored to now be a member of this special group. My dad was passionate about polka music and always strived for perfecting the sound. I remember when I was a kid, he would spend countless hours in the basement with his band. He would take my brother and I to the Polish Home, Peony Park, and weddings where we would watch his band play. When he talked about his band, he always spoke highly of the loyal and extremely talented musicians who committed their weekends to making the journey all those years filled with fun and laughter. Playing polkas with these guys was addictive, he said, and we were all in that zone, all experiencing a musical high. To those guys, my father would like to say a special thank you, for without them, none of it would have been possible. He would also like to thank all the family, friends, and followers for all the support, encouragement, and kind words over the years. You were the catalyst that drove the Lenny Rich Band to exist. Thank you all so much.
Jan Lhotak was born on February 10, 1951 in Omaha, Nebraska. His parents were Alex and Jean Lhotak. Jan is married to Jeanette Lhotak, and he has a son, John, and two granddaughters, Jess and Janie. Jeanette, why don't you stand up and be recognized? Jan attended grade school at Omaha Public Schools Hawthorne, Mars Junior High, Omaha South High School, college at the University of Nebraska, Omaha, and graduating from Peru State College. Jan was born and raised in South Omaha. His grandfather played cornet and his dad played clarinet, saxophone, and trumpet. To follow in their footsteps, he enrolled in beginning band at age 7, starting on trumpet. His dad then taught him to play saxophone a year later. Jan played trumpet and tenor saxophone all through high school and learned to play tuba, string bass, and French horn during summer band sessions. Beginning in 1968, Jan started playing with the Frankie Remar Orchestra, the Omaha Czech Brass Band, and many with other bands, polka bands and ballroom bands. In 1969, Jan started college at as a music education major, where he also learned to play clarinet, flute, trombone, and piano. However, his formal music education ended in December of 1970 when he won the military draft lottery. He then enlisted into the United States Air Force and worked as a hospital corpsman for a year and a half until the Air Force needed trumpet players more than they needed medics. Jan served as an active duty musician with the Strategic Air Command Band at Offutt Air Force Base from 1972 to 1984. He played trumpet with the SAC concert band and notable stage band, as well as the SAC Ambassadors Polka Band. When not performing as a musician with one of those groups, he would also serve as the band supply sergeant and chief audio engineer. During his 12 years he performed all over the United States and Canada and traveled as far away as Hawaii and Guam, working with famous entertainers like Tony Bennett and Boxcar Willie. In 2000, Jan began his retirement years, playing for bands in Iowa, South Dakota, Minnesota, and Wisconsin. He can be seen on stage with Mark Bilodeau Orchestra, Bill Unyo Brass Band, Little Tavern Band, and Randy Corbally, and the new Moonlighters, as well as many other groups. The list of instruments Jan can be found playing with the wide variety of bands: trumpet, saxophone, clarinet, trombone, baritone, tuba, keyboards, and tenor banjo. Jan received the John Philip Sousa Award in 1968 at Omaha South High School and was inducted into the Musicians Hall of Fame in Milligan, Nebraska in 2020. With that, Sonny, would you induct Jan Lhotak into the Sokolova Hall of Fame?
Congratulations, Dan. On behalf of Circle Omaha, past inductees, appreciate all the help you give me with my band. You've done a great job contributing to polka music, so congratulations to you.
Thank you. Well, thanks, Jim. Thanks, Sonny. And the biggest thanks I have to give is to my wife. And, you know, if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be able to do what I do. She's, you know, my support system, my roadie, and everything else in between. My son and his family, they would normally be here, but they here just a week or two ago, they left to go back home. They were down here in Omaha taking care of my first wife, my son's mother. So she's had some health issues. And so my son had to go back to work in Minnesota, and oldest granddaughter had to go back to work in Fargo, North Dakota. So, and they get away from the heat. So, big thank you to my family because they put up with me all these years. Along with all the musicians here, you know, I actually do have more of a family here than I do at my own home because all these musicians here, these are all my family. So, thanks to all of you. I would like to thank all the past inductees where everybody is. They're spread out all over the place here. Thank them for voting for me. And I really owe a big thank you to the Sokol organization for, even though they had to sell this hall, they want to keep the hall, the Musicians Hall of Fame going, and that's a great thing that we can keep that going. Another group of people I do have to thank, you know, big thank you to all the people that come to our dances. Not all of them dance, but they come to our dances and they come to our concerts. They come to listen and to dance. And if it wasn't for them, all of us still wouldn't be playing. Now, Jim touched on something that my first playing job was with Frankie Remar and the Polka Knights. And I was 17 years old, and I think, where is Frank? I'm so lucky to have Frank show up wherever he is. I just thought, there he is. You know, and I think, Frank, you were about 20 years old. And you know, we played a heck of a lot of jobs, and we had a heck of a lot of fun, and we drank a whole lot of beer. We only had one guy on the band that was old enough to buy beer, and that was Jim Bachnicek. So you were good for something, Jim. Another band member that right after I joined Frankie Remar, another band member, really key band member joined, is Dave Kulishek. I see him sitting over here, he's sitting over on that side. And you hear him on, I think Dave, you played on every one of those recordings. And we really did have a wonderful time. So I have to thank Frank, and I've had a heck of a lot of band leaders in between then and now. But now I'm so happy to see, and I'm so grateful that all three of the band leaders that I work with regularly, they all showed up today. Mark Villadal. Stand up, Mark. Stand up, Mark. Most of the band is here today. Kevin's playing up here, and Jacob is here, and he brought the next generation with him, young Herman. And then also, Luha Spodka is here, and we're all of the original South Omaha boys, the Little Tavern Band. I think we're all here today. And thank you guys for coming. And then Randy Korbelik, his wife Debbie, and some of that band, Sue, they're all here too. So those are the bands that I work with the most now, and I'm so grateful everybody was able to show up. And so happy to see everybody here and keeping the tradition going. Thank you very much.
Bob Zyblut was born on July 29, 1951 in Omaha, Nebraska. His parents were Ted and Sylvia Zyblut. Bob is married to Terry Zyblut, and he has a son, Matthew, and two granddaughters, Lily and Sophie. Also, Terry has a son, Vance, and daughters, Tiffany and Brittany, and 8 grandchildren. Bob attended grade school at St. Adalbert's in Omaha and graduated from Omaha South High School in 1970. He then was drafted into the United States Army. Bob got his first set of drums at age 10, and shortly after played his first dance job with his uncle Milt Jaworski at a barn dance in Silver Creek, Nebraska. Bob enjoyed being a part of these bands on a steady basis. Frankie Remar and the Polka Knights, Frank Kushka and the Boys, and Lou Husputka's Little Tavern Band. But Bob received calls to sub for Greg and Bob Lecka on a steady basis, but he got a phone call to play for Dean Hansen Trio. It was the most memorable of all, going all the way to Palmer, Nebraska in the middle of the week to play a dance job. And that still sticks in his mind, all the way to Palmer. As a member of the Union Pacific Drum and Bugle Corps, he enjoyed playing annually at Winter Carnival in St. Paul, Minnesota. Being a close musical friend of Rudy Dwarf's enabled Bob to get a chance to go to New Ulm, Minnesota and play for the Peter and Paul Windinger Band. And also later on traveled to Mitchell, South Dakota to play at the famous Corn Palace with the Six Fat Dutchmen. Bob and Rudy teamed up to form the DZ Recording Company. Bob has been inducted into the Czech Musicians Hall of Fame in Milligan, Nebraska. With that, Sonny, would you induct Bob Zyblut into the Sokolama Polka Hall of Fame?
Congratulations on behalf of Oklahoma, all the past inductees, for all you've done, help promote, preserve polka music. Let's give this guy a hand. He traveled all the way from Minnesota to get this award.
Well, the story was told. I can't say a whole lot more than a big, big thank you to this Southern Sokol, all the past musicians, inductees, super people. This God-given gift was given to me, I guess, in 1951 when I was supposed to be a Sophia. And Dad came in and says, "So how's my Sophia?" Mom says, "It's not Sophia." So then they argued. My Busha, my grandmother on my mother's side, decided to have a nice argument with my father. And he said, "I don't care what you call this kid." He was pretty upset, so out the door he went. But anyway, that was kind of a highlight in my career. But most of all, growing up in a musical family, unbelievable. You get to spend Saturday nights at Polish home, and fall asleep underneath the chairs, and listen to the great bands. Other than my uncle's band, Mil Jaworski's orchestra, but there were tons and tons of Polish bands. And then the Bohemian band started playing at Polish home. And then somebody said earlier, one of the guys said about addicting. It was addicting. I can remember when I got drafted, my whole world turned upside down. But there was one gentleman that called me up when I got home from the service after 2.5 years, and it was Frankie Remar. And Butchie's here, like Jan said. And so then I started my career with Frankie Remar and the Polka Knights. and they're polka nights because they were all from Iowa, or from Orion High School, except for me. I was south. So, but we had a lot of good times with Butch, and then decided all of a sudden I started hanging around with the bad crowd, Rudy Dvorak, Frankie Joe Kuska, Mouse, Paulie Menishek, and all of a sudden Mr. Kuska says it's time for us to start a band. And so we ended up the Frank Kuska and the Boys. And I'm telling you what, all the people, and a lot of you are still with us. You made our day. You made our day. We enjoyed it. Now I got to get back to introducing Terry and my son. They're here. My granddaughters just started school, so it's a long way from them from Minnesota. So, and then Vance is down in Texas. So they're kind of strung all over the United States. But anyway, Greg's coming up too. Then I got hooked up with another bunch of renegades. Bobby Blecka and Greg Blecka, and it was something that it was just mystical and magical to play with these kind of individuals. You know, you'd see them playing here at Sokol Hall and all the other places, the venues and everything. And it was just fantastic. It was just unbelievable. So with that, that's all I got to say, and I appreciate everybody coming, and also, again, thank you to the Sokol organization and all the past inductees for giving me a chance to be inducted into this great organization. Thank you so much.
Galen Beck was born on February 19, 1958 in Crete, Nebraska. His parents were Bob and Marcy Beck. Galen is married to Gwen Anderson Beck, and they have two daughters, Maureen Beck Halma and Anna Beck. Galen attended Wilbur Claytonia High School and grade in high school and graduated in 1976. When Galen was in the 5th grade, he got his first instrument, a trumpet. His parents encouraged him to play any instrument he would like on the terms that he had to stick with it. He was really glad for that because it inspired him to play many instruments. The band director at school was Dwayne Jorgensen, and when friend Kelly Homolka and he would come to band class after playing polka music all weekend and show up with different instruments, instead of telling them to go back to the trumpet section, Dwayne would ask them to show him what you got. And guess what? Galen really enjoyed the stage band because he liked to improvise when he played. Dwayne Jorgensen and his friends made every part of the band enjoyable. Some of his favorite memories come from stage band and concert band festivals. In junior high and high school, Galen and his friends enjoyed playing polka music in small towns around home. Galen and his dad actually had a standing Sunday night gig in Hallam, Nebraska for 3 years. Galen's first time playing with the well-known polka band was with Bob Blecka and the Bouncing Checks. Bob Blecka, Donna Swanda, Lou Stronick, and Bob Stepanek at the L&L Bar in Wilbur in the early 1970s. His mom worked at the bar, and his dad asked Bob if Galen could sit in with the band, and the rest is history. Galen has played for numerous groups over the years. Bob Black at the Bouncing Checks, Greg's Good Time Band, Dan Bruja, Accordionettes, Milligan Czech Brass Band, the Raynold Woita. And I found out a little story about that. Raynold and Galen were very good friends. The Wilbur Claytonia Czech Alumni Band, he was a founding member of the alumni band that performs every Wilbur Days. Galen is a fourth generation farmer. He has daughters, Maureen and Anna are also musically talented. And in his spare time, he enjoys fishing, machinery repair, playing cards, putting together puzzles with the family, and sponsoring the Beck Farms bowling team, who ranked 46th in the nation at the National Bowling Tournament in Las Vegas, Nevada. Galen has played polka music in Iowa, Kansas, Michigan, Oklahoma, Texas, Ohio, Wisconsin, Minnesota, Montana, and Nebraska. Playing in several bands with daughter Maureen also on the stage gives him great pleasure and pride, as well as son-in-law John Allman. Trumpet is his primary instrument, but Galen enjoys playing piano, harmonica, clarinet, baritone, saxophone, trombone, bass horn, drums, and piano and button accordions. According to Galen, music has awarded him over 50 years of great friendships, experiences in life, and teaching and watching the youngsters, the younger generation. With that, Sonny, would you induct, I should say, Galen Beck into the Circle of Oklahoma?
All the past inductees, for all you've done to promote, preserve polka music. Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Before I start, my daughter said she typed this out for me, so see ya. You can read it in the balcony, it's real big. I gotta thank you, Omaha Book of Hall of Fame past inductees and selection committee for choosing me for this honor. Thank you very much. There are countless musicians who have preserved Czech music for many years, and I am honored to be selected to receive this recognition. When I first started playing trumpet as a kid, I never imagined all the wonderful things music could add to my life. My dad drove me to my very first polka gigs in the 70s. Over 50 years later, I have some of the best friends because of it, and memories also. Bob Blecka, Greg Blecka, Bob Stepanek, we have played hundreds of jobs together, and I've enjoyed every one of them. All the stuff I could pull. A lot of stories, Dan Lenny, Bruja, Mike Cushing, Glenn Kocha, and the Milligan Brass Band, Deb Polacek, and the Accordionettes, Brad Husak, Jim Musty. Thank you for giving me the chance to play polka music with your bands and with my daughter and son-in-law. Kelly Hamoka and Bob Mager, we have kind of a little group we put together 3 piece. Kelly, Bob, and Galen, when we name it the KGB band. Kelly, Lhotak, Bob, Hogg, Frank Siedlik, Polka Road Trips, and booth number 18 at the Sokol Hall in Wilbur is kind of ours. And it's something I will never forget. Finally, I'd like to thank my family, Gwen, Anna, Maureen, and John, for always supporting me and sharing my love of the Czech heritage and music. Thank you very much.
Yes, I did make one mistake today. But I caught him and just as I was coming down from upstairs, then Frankie Remar, I don't know if I announced him as being a past inductee. How could I do that, Frankie? I don't know. But anyway, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for attending today. Do you have something to say, Sonny?
Let's give Jim Body Check a big hand, folks. Nice work. Good job, Jim. Also want to thank all you folks for coming, all you past inductees, to this beautiful, previously Sokol Hall, now the Admiral. We're going to host this event again next year, September 8th. Lord willing, I'd like to see you all come back. I want to thank the Omaha Czech Culture Club again for providing the food for us, and the good Jim Kachir band that you're going to hear some more music for them here in a little bit, but let's give those guys a big hand. Also, let's give a big hand to all of the past inductees and these current new inductees up here on the stage. Polka music's alive in Nebraska, and we're glad to have Mr. Mark Villadol doing the promoting for us. Since he's retired, this guy is busy as ever. He wants to have some good music. He gives Mark Villadol a call, and if he can't do it, Kevin Cooper will take over for you. So with that, we thank you, and enjoy the rest of your evening, folks. Thank you.